technical reincarnation and the main paradox of consciousness. Why does copying consciousness make no sense? Even if we can create artificial soul technology, trying to copy it to another medium for the sake of immortality does not make sense. What is wrong with our idea of immortality? The reality is much more interesting. If we replace all the atoms of our brain, nothing will happen, because they change over the course of life as a result of metabolism. We depend on the structure of the body, not on the substance of which it consists. Replacing all atoms is equivalent to making copies of a body, in which duplicates of consciousness will arise. The laws of nature that generate consciousness must work the same way in different copies. Theseus' paradox doesn't make sense in this case. In each copy, a clone of your consciousness will appear, but with its own future destiny. Parfit's paradox, which describes teleportation with the destruction of the original, suggests that it will still experience the emotions of dying, and his clone will be a different being. If the original body is under anesthesia at the time of copying, all resulted bodies will not be able to determine who is the original and who is the copies. If you make several copies of one body, evenly distributing the original atoms and adding new ones, where will your consciousness be? If several identical copies are combined into one, we will not be able to tell which consciousness remains and which has disappeared. What is the criterion of your consciousness, the preservation of which you consider immortality? Our idea of ourselves almost always looks like an idea of personality. But theoretically, you could be given to a neurosurgeon, erase or replace your memory, change your habits, settings, transplant other body parts. What would be left of your personality? We change over time, learning and forgetting information, changing our attitudes and lifestyles. At what point should we make a copy of our personality? A 1,000-year-old brain can be deprived of memory or create the illusion that it was just created. The newly created copy can be given artificial memories of its life over thousands of years. And perception will honestly consider itself the person that memory shows it. We are not the mind, not the senses, not the memory, and not the body. Technically, we are a function of perception, pure tabula rasa, the ability to perceive. We are what will perceive the changes after the neurosurgery or in the newly created personality and body. This is the main criterion of consciousness. All its attributes can disappear, but as long as there is perception, you are alive and consciousness will begin to acquire new experiences, get acquainted with new feelings and the body, create new memories. So, we have found out that the main factor determining consciousness is perception, since the body and personality can change. We described the main logical and technical principles of obtaining perception on devices in the previous video: artificial soul, protoneuron and proto-consciousness. There we also described why consciousness cannot be achieved using existing information technologies. Now comes the most interesting part. You may assume that there is no point in copying the body as a condition, because you and your current perception will still remain in your old copy, where you will die. The new copy will only be as similar to you as possible, but it will not be you. The thing is that there is no such thing as your real and native perception, which continuously exists in your body from birth. Perception is a function of the observer in the system, a physical effect of registering the difference in the energy balance that exists only in the present time. When you fall asleep or are unconscious, the effect disappears. Every morning your perception is new. Every day, every moment new electrons create a new effect. Exactly the same, but not the same. This effect exists in the present tense. It is new every time. There is no connection between yesterday's you and tomorrow's you. The illusion of the extension of personality in time is created only by memory. Perception is not connected with personality. It does not care where it arises. It only needs suitable conditions in the form of a body and a brain. Neurons will transfer to the new perceptual effect the memory, history and worldview of the brain in which it arose. If your memory and body change during sleep by 10, 50, or 90%, perception will not even know about it. What is left of you? This means that waking up in the original, a copy, or a completely different body, tomorrow or in 1,000 years, will be equivalent. Also, our memory cannot have other experiences, so we consider ourselves locked in our body and mortal with it. What it perceives, it exists, and not the other way around. It is always new, here and now. Such an unusual example of survivorship bias. Without perception, personality and body are meaningless. But you can't even plan that tomorrow you will be that perception that wakes up in your old body. It's an element, and you never know where it will throw you next, as amazing as it sounds. Therefore, you will not be able to transfer your consciousness to the chosen electronic medium, because there is no your consciousness. This is the main paradox of consciousness. The existence of consciousness may be eternal, although not in the format we expected. We are perception, a function of the observer, the effect of refraction of the electric field in neural networks, which wanders from one body to another throughout evolution. Tomorrow you can wake up in another body. The change does not depend on the death of the body, but on the rupture of the observer's session, which disappears during sleep. But wherever you wake up, your memory will accurately recreate the illusion of this body for you. And our ideas about the soul as a personality and something material that can be preserved, taken away, transferred, destroyed, come from the formats of our sensations and are not the truth. Our perception is a part of nature that cannot be destroyed. Such is samsara, and everything seems positive. Why do you need to free yourself from endless reincarnations, as some Eastern teachings say about it? But then comes to mind the human society, full of problems and negativity, in which not everyone would like to live their life. Slaughterhouses and the wild nature, where hunger, fear and pain are the most common emotions, where a minority of cubs survive to adulthood. In this respect, the care of all religions for any living being, like of yourself, become quite clear. All this gives great food for thought. What we will try to describe in the following videos.